Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the world of women's tennis in Glendale, California. But, this isn't just about forehands and backhands. We're really looking at how local programs are completely dismantling the typical barriers that keep women off the court, and instead, how they're fostering these incredible, lasting communities. So if you've ever thought about picking up a racket but talked yourself right out of it, well, this explainer is exactly what you need. Okay, let's start with a very real, very common hurdle. You want to play, but you're a little intimidated, right? And honestly, who wouldn't be? Plenty of women stall out at this exact point. You might be thinking to yourself, I really do not want to learn in a group of strangers who are already amazing at this. Or maybe, I just don't have a ready-made social circle to go play with. Listen, those are completely valid concerns. It's that classic hesitation before trying anything new, facing the fear of aggressive players, or just feeling like the odd one out. But the great news here? The programs we're looking at today are specifically designed to obliterate those exact worries. So let's look at the ladies-only difference. There is just a stark night and day contrast between a typical mixed beginner class and a women-specific program. Mixed classes, they often end up moving at the pace of the absolute most aggressive player out there, which leaves everyone else just competing to get the coach's attention. But when you take that pressure away completely, the whole pace becomes so much more welcoming. It's actually normal to ask questions. You can take a minute to actually learn. Plus, there's a massive practical benefit here, the scheduling. Finding a class structured around, say, a morning school drop-off or a quick midday window is just vastly easier to commit to than some late evening session that's built for someone else's corporate routine. Now, here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. It is about comfort, not lowered standards. There's this super common misconception that a ladies-only environment means the tennis itself is going to be easier or, less rigorous. That is simply not true. The coaching remains highly, highly technical. The real difference is just the environment. It's supportive, the grouping is consistent, and actually, because the space removes all that self-consciousness of making mistakes, a lot of women find their progress totally accelerates. You're learning the exact same complex physical skills, just without all that unnecessary mental friction. So skill building matters, for sure. But the community, that is the real draw. When you join a standing ladies tennis group, it very quickly becomes a weekly anchor in your life. You start seeing the same familiar faces, you're having easy conversations, and you're playing with people who genuinely notice and care when you miss a week. It's this intentional social design, built right into the program rather than just tacked on at the end, that turns a basic fitness class into a really thriving community. Which brings us to the benefits beyond the court. There are 3 incredibly powerful advantages to picking up a racket that go way beyond physical fitness. First up, it is the ultimate mental reset. Seriously, when you are spending an hour intensely tracking a fast-moving, fuzzy yellow ball, there is literally zero room left in your brain to ruminate on work stress or your endless to-do list. It fully clears your head. Second, the confidence transfers. Learning a difficult physical skill as an adult, especially one you maybe doubted you could do, builds this quiet, resilient confidence that definitely shows up in your off-court life too. And third, this is a sport for the long run. Tennis is something you can play for decades, so the investment of time you make right now is going to pay you back for the rest of your life. All right, let's break down formats, leagues, and costs. There's a really wonderful flow to how these different formats work together. You might start out with group lessons. Those give you a very supportive pace, you've got built-in peers, and it's a great starting point. But say you need to fix a specific stroke fast. That's when private or semi-private lessons are your best bet. From there, you can actually graduate to social play. These are super casual, rotation-based sessions that are light on the strict instruction, but heavy on connection and fun. And finally, when you're match ready, you can step right up to women's leagues. That's your structured, team-based, competitive play where you're grouped strictly by your specific skill level, so every single match stays totally fair. Now, we definitely need to talk numbers, right? For individual group sessions, you're generally looking at a range of $25 to $50 each. If you're looking for a more comprehensive package, monthly memberships usually run between $390 to $585 a month. And for that highly tailored one-on-one or paired private coaching, the cost typically ranges from $80 to $120 per hour. Having this financial breakdown crystal clear up front just makes it so much easier to plan your entry into the sport. But hey, cost isn't everything. Quality really matters. So there are 3 absolute non-negotiable markers you should be looking for when you choose a women's program. Number 1, seek out small capped groups. We're talking ideally 4 to 6 players. Anything larger than that and you just lose that supportive, personalized feel. Number 2, Look for consistent coaching and grouping week to week. You really want to grow with the exact same instructor and peers. And number 3, make sure the program offers a clear path forward. You don't want to get stuck doing beginner drills forever, right? There needs to be a highly visible pipeline from lessons straight through to social play and eventually into league tennis. So let's talk about actually finding your tennis community. Here is your 4-step game plan to get started. Step 1, decide your goal. Are you looking for strict instruction, purely social play, or maybe a mix of both? Knowing that helps you pick the exact right format. Step 2, be totally honest about your current skill level, just so you get placed correctly from day 1. Step 3, try a single session before you make any big, long-term financial commitment. Just go see if the vibe is right for you. And finally, step 4, and honestly, this might be the most critical one, show up consistently for the first month. Remember what we talked about earlier. True communities are formed through repetition. You have to be there week after week to really build those bonds. To see what these principles actually look like in action, a great local example is the 3015 Tennis Academy in Glendale. This academy literally checks all the boxes we just ran through. They offer those small groups, strictly capped at 4 to 6 women. They have certified coaches led by founders Mahar and Oleg, who are incredibly focused on building those supportive, technically sound, and pressure-free sessions for every single level, from absolute first-timers all the way to experienced league players. And they serve a really wide local area, drawing in players from Glendale, Burbank, Pasadena, and La Crescenta. So if you happen to be in the Southern California area and you want to look into the specific program, you can easily find them online at 3015tennisacademy.com. You can also visit their courts at 651 Glenwood Road in Glendale, or just give them a call at 818-722-3015. It really is a fantastic example of a program doing things right by putting both the community and the learner first. All right, which brings us to the end of today's explainer, and I want to leave you with this one final thought. Are you ready to step onto the court and find your community? We've seen today how that initial intimidation is completely normal, but it's also a barrier that is so easily overcome when you find the right, supportive, ladies-only environment. The benefits to your mental health, your confidence, and your social life, they're out there, just waiting for you on the court. Thank you so much for joining me today, and as always, keep learning, keep exploring, and maybe, just maybe, it's time to finally go pick up that racket.